almost said good morning. Good evening.
Good evening, everybody.
Oh boy. It's one of them days. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Monday start of the week. Yeah. Pat, Grace, Debbie, Vicky, Harvest Mary Moon, Be Charming, Donna B, and What Life's in here. Oh, yeah, there he is.
Here I am.
Yeah. If you didn't notice, I didn't show up this morning because I was supposed to pick something up, and they changed their mind on the day, so probably nothing again tomorrow. But hopefully Wednesday we'll be back. Busy day in the kitchen. Were you canning things or freeze drying things? I need to get out there to the garden because I went out there and was mowing, and like 2 days ago, I went by my San Marino tomatoes. They're all green. I go out there and it's like the whole thing is flipped and went red all of a sudden. I'm like, whoa. Overnight, uh, everything turned. My peppers are all ready to go. So it's gonna be fun times.
Well, in my experimental compost mini garden that I had going on, figured out what one of my pepper plants were that grew out of the mix. One of them is a bell pepper, and it's just now starting to get some bell peppers forming on there. So I said, shoot, yeah. I've eaten so much out of there, and that was just an experiment, you know.
Yeah. My purple Cherokees are a lot. I've got a lot of ones turned to seed already. Oh, what is that? Half a dozen jars of cowboy candy relish, made a boatload of heavenly eggs on the half, and then did dinner.
Well, I'm on the way. Clear out a space. I don't know what heavenly eggs are, but they sound good. They sound heavenly.
The opposite of deviled eggs, I suppose.
I didn't even think of that. That's probably right.
uh, I've been sitting there here in the past weeks. I've been watching the Rocket Files, and mainly to watching the old vehicles and cars and stuff. But it's a good show anyway. I mean, I used to like watching it in reruns every day, but now watching it again, it's like it's a good series. Even back then, and watching it now, it's still a good series. And then I started watching Third Watch, the early 2000 show in New York City. They had it's basically um, like the Chicago Fire and those shows, but
Sounds familiar.
in one show. They had the paramedics, the firemen, and the police. And yeah, good show. And it's weird seeing some of them people back then young. And it was just only 20 some years ago, 24, 25 years ago. Looking at them old ambulances and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
It's like, oh boy.
Or back when it wasn't even really an ambulance, it was like a station wagon, like the Ghostbusters had that
Oh
style.
no, these were because there's only 1999 is when I think it came out, or 2000.
Okay.
Um, but it is a good show. I remember not seeing it when it came out, and then probably about 10 years ago, I found it, and well, it's all squares still. That tells you how old it is.
Yeah.
When everything was on square TVs, and you sit there and think about it. Computers were square, and nowadays you don't even think about it because everything's at widescreen. It's amazing. We used to watch everything on a perfectly square screen, and now that you watch it now, you have all this dead space in there because it only shows the square,
Yeah.
unless they digitally redo it and whatnot.
Yeah. I like when they do that, especially on some of the older movies and stuff like that.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
they digitally remaster it.
yeah. Well, like I said, I like uh something they talk about things back then, and nobody got butt hurt over it. It was like, oh, it's a TV show. Nowadays, if they said some of that stuff, I mean, look at Archie Bunker.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They'd be dolls of him on fire on the street corners.
Yeah, any of those comedians from that era.
Yeah, or those shows,
Yeah.
the way it was. But nowadays, you can't say anything, or, well, I should say, certain people can't say anything. Uh, but what was what good things happened, or I should say, what happened in history today? I haven't even looked.
You know what? It's been one of those Mondays I didn't even look.
Let's see if I can find it here. I think this is
Oh,
the
it's
right one.
it's some good
Oh yeah.
stuff for sure.
Well, 2010, last combat troops leave Iraq,
Mm.
even though we still have people in Iraq.
And it don't seem that long ago.
Oh, 1692, Salem witch trials. 1909, first auto race at Indy.
Yeah, I seen that. The first Indianapolis 500 was the day in history. I bet that was totally different than nowadays.
But was it at the 500, or it was just maybe Indianapolis 50
Yeah,
or something?
yeah, probably they probably wasn't even 500 then. Yeah, you're probably right. I don't think they started naming stuff like that to what, maybe the 50s or 60s, maybe.
Probably. 1960, U-2 pilot convicted in Moscow. Um, yeah, there's a bunch of that on the witch trials, and got their names down. Oh, a lot of movies were based off of that. Uh, oh boy, in 1934, German voters approved the vesting of soul, uh, basically giving power to who, that crazy man in Germany. That was today in 1934. There was a hurricane, Diane, severe flooding in northeast United States, claiming over 200 lives. Oof.
Today in 1934, the first All-American Surfbox Derby is held in Dayton, Ohio.
Soapbox derby, huh?
I always seen that in movies as a kid, but I don't know. I guess we didn't really have nothing like that in my area.
Yeah, I've never seen it. The closest I come to it is, I don't know if it was like a Boy Scout thing or something, but you built these wooden ones and you had them on a trackie and let them go.
Yeah, we did that.
Yeah, but not a full size one where you get inside or anything like that. Must not have been in the budget. But I always thought that would be cool, though.
Oh yeah, I think it was in the remake of the Little Rascals they did in the '90s. I think that was a soapbox derby at the
Yeah,
end of that movie, wasn't it?
yeah. Um, uh, Blue Bloods, they had it on that one too. I remember that was they all came out and a little girl beat both of the two that had the rival.
Yeah, I grew up on dirt roads out in the country. The closest thing to that I got was a Red Wing wagon going down the side of a clay hill
Yeah, I know.
with feet brakes.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. I did some crazy stuff when I was a kid. Oh man. I'm surprised I'm still here. We used to try. We used to wreck on purpose, do jumps and wreck on purpose.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Just bored.
Man, when you was coming up, you could do stuff like that and have fun, and people wouldn't really bother you for the most part. I don't think.
Yeah. Nowadays, you need counseling.
Yeah, but I notice like when I go like downtown or like on the part of the river downtown on Broad Street, I see a lot of people skateboarding again. I don't know if it's come back. It might have always been a thing, but I've noticed a lot more people skateboarding.
Yeah, I miss skateboarding, but I'd probably break something. Try doing it again.
Yeah, I enjoy watching it, but I was never a skateboarder.
I remember
Rollerblades, no.
uh, actually seeing uh, what's his name?
Tony
Tony
Hawk.
Hawk. Yeah, uh, at a skate park. They were doing. It was some kind of tournament or something, and this is right after we got um, rubber wheels, the neoprene or whatever they were called.
Yeah,
Because before you had these, they were hard skateboard wheels. They I mean, they were pretty good size, but um, like you go to slide or anything, those things would
mm,
and make a
I bet.
horrible noise. I remember when we started getting those new wheels. Oh man, because any little pebble that was in the way with those old wheels, it'd lock up and you go flying. The newer ones, it'll well back then those ones, uh, any little rock would you could kind of go over it a little bit better. Yeah, I remember them days. Oh, because that was the thing was downhill. Because before that, before those wheels came out, that there was no real control of getting off the concrete or anything like that. But I remember doing the going downhill, and then you could turn your skateboard sideways, and it'd go.
Mm.
It'd bark. That was like in the 70s, maybe early 80s, but yeah.
Yeah, I grew up in the country, but I don't remember how old I was. But one Christmas or something, somebody had the bright idea to get me a skateboard. Um, I mean, I appreciated it, but I'm thinking, where the heck am I gonna ride it at? My mom said, "Well, don't worry. We go over to your the grandma's house this weekend. You take it over there and ride it. All right, cool." So I had my knee pads, my elbow pads, my helmet. So I said, well, this can't be too bad. My grandma, she lived in a cul-de-sac, so I mean, it was like the perfect spot. So I said, I took off, and you know how you hold it in one hand and kind of take off running and just kind of jump on it. Man,
Yeah.
I did that maneuver and went about 3 feet, and I didn't have my balance, and man, my feet went up. The skateboard went one way, I went the other way, and I said, no, the heck with this.
That was your skateboard career.
That was my career, all of 5 minutes. It took me longer to get on all my protective equipment than in my career. I said,
Yeah.
no, the heck with this.
Well, I think I've showed it before. I still got it a skateboard I used to take out with the kids. Actually, I think I showed a picture of me on a skateboard. See if I can find it. Somewhere. No, that's not it. Hard to say where all those pictures are.
Yeah, so I readjusted, and my skateboards and rollerblades became replaced with four-wheelers and dirt bikes, and I was okay with that.
Yeah, I kind of got into the BMX stuff, and that was fun. Way before they started doing tricks and stuff. I remember when I wasn't very old. We sold tickets to me jumping over a canal. We
Mm,
built a ramp and everything, and actually built a ramp to land on the other side. Um, Never did any figuring or anything. Well, if I'm going 20 miles an hour and hit this ramp, how far do you think I'll end up going? Never done any of that figuring or anything.
yeah.
And we had some seats setting up on both sides of the ramp so people could sit down, and we was selling 25 cents for a seat. And uh, at the top of the hill, that's where I started from, pedal like the crazy, and hit that ramp. And at that time, I didn't know you had to lift up on the front to level it out or anything. And I went flying whoosh in the air and then straight back down on the other side, and actually broke my ribs and my chest
Mm,
hitting the handlebars. Oh man. I made it though, but I went way past the ramp, on the other side and went straight down. And that was my career in Evil Knievel-ish. I never did anything like that again. Nope.
Never had any broken. Well, I've never had any broken bones. Knock on wood. But I've had a few bruised ribs. Shoot, if it felt worse than that, I definitely don't want any broken ones.
Oh boy. Had fingers, hand, nose, pinky toes. I don't know how you break that little bitty toe, but it's been broken. My chest bone, and I've had ribs cut in half. I think that's it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it.
Like I used to work with this guy. He was
Oof.
professional motocross at one time, and he said, "Man, I've broken like every bone in my body almost at least
Oh,
twice." And man, he was always in pain.
oh, I bet. I bet you especially when he gets older.
Yeah, he's like started. He turned pro or something like when he was like a teenager, and he raced till he was like, I don't know, his early 30s.
Now, I've probably had quite a few fractures. Never had them looked at or anything to determine if they were a fracture or not, but probably quite a bit.
Yeah, I think we got up to 91 here today, and I think that's about the warmest it's gonna get here for the next couple weeks. It's mid to upper 80s. The next 2 weeks is showing. So I ain't
Uh,
complaining.
it was nice out today, breezy, and I don't think it got over 70, 73.
Oh wow.
That was nice. How old did Evil Knievel live to? I don't know. Let's see. 2007. He was 69 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Wonder what did he end up passing from? Did it say?
Um, pulmonary disease.
I don't even know what that is. I think it's
I
something with
think
your heart, isn't it?
that or breathing. I don't know. Here, let's search that.
So notice I've heard the term like pulmonary heart disease.
Yeah, it's affect the lung and other parts of a respiratory system.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know if he was a smoker or not. If that had something to do with it. So I've never really seen him smoking. So the only thing I seen him was on a motorcycle in the rocket car. I remember the rocket car too.
Evil Knievel.
I don't know if that was true or not. Yeah.
Yeah, he was definitely a daredevil.
Oh yeah.
Man.
His son. Well, actually, it looks like he got a bunch of kids.
I'd imagine
Yeah.
so.
I don't. I don't know which one it is that took after him, but there we got Robbie, Linda Kelly, which is a guy.
Robbie Knievel. I think that's. I don't know if it was. I don't think it was Evil Knievel, but I remember as a kid watching one of them do a stunt. It was on ABC or CBS.
Jumping over the fountain.
I don't know if it was the fountain or I don't want to say the Grand Canyon. It was something. I
Oh, it
remember as
is
a kid.
Robbie. Oh, he's already died.
Really?
Yeah.
I could have swore that was him in like the 90s or the early 2000s maybe that I've seen.
Yeah. Robbie Knievel, born in 62, died in last January.
Oh wow. Dang.
Huh. There's the other one, Kelly. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't look like he did anything. Well, I mean, as in stunt things.
What was his real name? Was it I mean, I'm pretty sure his name wasn't Evil.
Robert Craig Knievel.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see, Chris, Tracy. Okay, that's a mix up there. That's not Alyssa. Yeah, there's nothing on her. That's probably the youngest one. There's Crystal Knievel too. Not much on her either.
Just that last name. I mean, when you hear that last name, most people know it. It's not a
Yeah,
common name, I don't think.
yeah. You think you know, oh, do you jump motorcycles?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe that his son passed already too.
Mm.
Well, older than I am, but 4 years older.
Still, that's still young though.
Yeah.
It's like I seen I don't know if it was today or yesterday. They said I think Phil Donahue passed. Uh
Yeah.
I forget how old he was, but I thought he had already passed though. And one of the women that played on I think Star Trek,
Which one?
I want to say she was on the original when she was one of the Asian women on the first series. She passed. I can't remember her real name, but it was like yesterday or the day before yesterday. I seen it in an article.
Huh.
They said she was like one of the lesser known cast members, but I mean she was still part of the crew.
Yeah. The only you had the cast members, and then there was that little boy with the creepy face. um, and then you had the green woman. She was pretty famous for that time period.
Yeah.
uh, yeah, I heard there's going to be more states cracking down on people uh, catching rainwater.
That's ridiculous.
Now, here in the last few days, have been, and it's been coming up a lot about the trails in the sky and all that.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's they don't want you catching rainwater because they don't want to wait it for people to test that stuff.
I'm not saying there hasn't been any trails in my area because things can happen and I usually don't see it, but I
Yeah,
haven't seen anything since uh probably a week before the storm hit last week. So about 2 to 3 weeks ago.
yeah. You stop and think about it though. Well, as a kid, I remember seeing airplanes go over, and you'd see smoke coming out there, and by the
It,
time you'd see that airplane go to the other side of the sky, that trail was gone.
yeah, it dissipate pretty quick.
Yeah, and it's amazing how these things stay in the sky so long now. And I'm not jumping to conspiracy stuff or anything like that, but
It's just what we see.
yeah. I don't know if it's just
Uh,
something in the fuel now, or is there other stuff involved in it? Who knows?
I've
Uh,
seen some that I've sat there and watched them long enough. It almost looked like they turned into a baby cloud or something. You know, it's
mhm.
just I don't know. I constantly take pictures of the sky at certain times and stuff to see if anything looks any different. But
Yeah, there's I took pictures not too long ago, and I showed it, and I said those pictures look like they've been painted there.
yeah,
um,
it looks so real. It looks unreal. If
yeah,
it makes sense.
yeah. I was, sometimes you look at the clouds and it's just like, is that is that a real cloud?
I don't know if you remember a while back. I sent you that image I took, and it's like where the sun was in the sky. It looked like a perfect cross. Remember that?
Oh yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
Sometimes it's just it's just Mother Nature doing its thing.
but just to be something so perfect like that, it's like wow, it's like a rainbow.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, rainbows are not as special as they used to be. Unfortunately, um, they've been tarnished. That reminds me of that third watch. It was 2000, so it was at the beginning stages of the alphabet thingies. Um, and there was an episode about somebody going around deleting those kind. And the cops were there, and there was normal jokes and everything, but uh, they were there, and the paramedics was there, and there were fire department was there, and everybody's doing stuff, and you would get these angry alphabets, and you guys are don't do nothing for us. If it was anybody else, you wouldn't be here, and we're already here. You can't say we're not doing anything if we're not here.
Yeah,
And I said, well, nowadays it's like totally the opposite. uh,
it's it's all about what some people want to see. You could be sitting there taking you a 5 minute breather, and somebody walk up and say, "How dare you? Why are you sitting down? There's so much work to be done." They don't see all the stuff you just did, and you taking you a breather. They just, you know what I mean? It's their perspective,
yeah,
you know. Or at the same time, you could be doing as much as you could possibly do, and oh, you're doing too much. Why are you doing too much?
yeah, you're
Don't
making us
do too
look
much.
bad.
Yeah, don't do too much. Uh, it's like that old saying, "Danged if you do, danged if you don't." In some things, you know.
Yeah, and that's a lot nowadays too.
Yeah. It's like the Gong Show. Dang, 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 dang.
Uh,
Let's getting into what we call in the South football weather, and I'm enjoying it.
yeah, to me, the whole rain thing. I don't understand why it's such a bad. I I see it in a certain way is in the mosquito thing, but there are clean and safe ways. If you're storing water, you can put things in the water that's safe to drink that um, you won't get mosquitoes in, or you just cover it up, put a screen
Exactly.
over it or something.
Yep.
But
Yeah, that'd be the only downfall I see. Yes, I mean, but anybody that's doing it to do that, I'm pretty sure they're well aware of that type of stuff. So I mean,
yeah,
I can't see no reason other than that. If anything,
yeah,
I think everybody should be allowed to do it, no matter where you're at.
because we talk about drought this, drought that, and running out of water in California and everywhere else, and it's like, well, wouldn't it be better if people saved rainwater to use in the gardens and washing their car or something like that?
That's what I think about. Then I think about it's too logical. It makes too much sense. Therefore, it can't make sense
Yeah.
to those people. But yeah, I mean, unless you just don't want to, I don't see why anything has to restrict someone from doing that.
Well, you know, it's probably been a while since I did that video about the stuff that's going on in Oregon and parts of Washington. Well, and some of California too.
About the meters,
Yeah, meters
yeah,
on
yeah.
wells. I what? I would have never even thought nothing like that.
Mm-mm.
And making people get $100,000 milking stations to milk their own cow.
That's insane.
Oh, you can't milk your cow over there. No, you have to have a cement floor and it has to be sterile. You have to have stainless steel this and that. Well, they didn't have that back in the olden days.
No, it did just fine.
Yeah,
They're trying to put ridiculous corporate restrictions on the small farmer, the small man, the average person, and it just
yeah.
ain't working. I can see if you had 100,000 cows or 1,000 cows, maybe,
Oh
but
yeah.
if you just got a handful to support your family or community, there's no need for it. You can't afford it. You're just doing what you can do.
Hmm. Well, I came across this, and I won't be able to see chat when I'm reading this, so better get my glasses on here. um, and these, and I came across this, and I was actually going to do a video on it, but and this is not my list or anything like that, but um, these are preppers that you should stay away from. If you know some of these, it's best to stay away from those types of preppers. The first one on the list is Macho Man. He's always looking to fight. um, uh, yeah, I thought that uh, his personality's inner circle can even be more disastrous, especially if you're locked into a limited space with said person. The next one is obsessed only with firearms. I think we know a few of those.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
it's a tool, but not the only tool.
yeah. Uh, the only concern is when a person only preps firearms like their Burt Gummer whoever that is. Secret illegitimate child, a wall full of weapons and a can of spam in the corner. That's their strategy for prepping. And then you got the bragging prepper. Yeah, that's probably one of the most dangerous ones. Well, I've got all these. I got all these number 10 cans under my bed, and I've got them in the closet, and I've got the
Yeah.
dehydrated meals and MREs all over the place.
Yeah, not openly broadcasting, if I shared something with you in confidence or something, that's the thing, but
Yeah,
don't tell the world because you never know who's listening.
and the guy who wants it to happen. Yeah, one of the most miserable types of preppers to avoid is the person who wants the end of the world to come. It's part of their fantasy scheme, and they're constantly sharing that with you.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah. And the next one is the field general. Yeah, that's that guy who he wants everyone to know that he's in charge type of person. Oh man, he's got a big list of stuff. And the tunnel vision prepper. Yeah, that a prepper who is only concerned about one single type of scenario is someone you need to avoid for the sake of being well rounded. Some preppers watch TV shows like Doomsday Prepper.
Yeah.
It gets under their skin and they focus their prepping efforts on one thing only. Yeah, that would, and I guess that's it.
Yeah,
Um,
we can't plan for everything, but we can't just plan for one thing either.
yeah, and to me, that's not really a prepper. That's just because that's what it's all. You prepare for any little thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like um, going on a trip and only putting the spare tire in without the jack. You only prepare for that one thing.
Yep.
Oops! How do we change the tire now?
Yep. I made sure I brought the tire. Who was in charge of the jack? Yeah.
I mean, out of all that list, we got the macho man obsessed with only firearms, the bragging prepper, the guy who wants it to happen, the field general, or the tunnel vision prepper. Which do you think would be the most dangerous out of all those?
Mm. It's hard to say. I guess each one, the way it's put like that, each one could have their own, you know, downside. But
Yeah,
no, it's hard to say.
makes you think. The
Could be
field
the
general,
could be the general. Yeah, you
that's
assert
a
yourself to a position. Yeah, and people say, yeah, okay, yeah, you want this role, you can have it, but just say it takes more than a title to make a person. It has to be from within. You got to be able to handle that type of role.
hey Southern Belle, and then there we've talked about the mag thing and everything before. Um, and that's actually starting to come back again, you know. Not as much as it was in 2020 when everybody and their brother was talking about starting one, and certain streamers were talking about making a list of all of them, and the people who fell for putting their name and address and their phone number on this list. Yeah, let's make a list of all the preppers and put their name and addresses so we know where they're all at. uh, yeah,
Mm. Yeah, it could be used. Yeah.
yeah. Macho Man is yeah. You sometimes jumping the gun is not a good thing.
Oh no. Anybody
And that
that's evil, they're going to see that as a sign of threat off the, they'll see that a mile away.
yeah, and that's the thing with the a group. Say you have 25 people, um, you wouldn't want one person being the deciding vote of what happens and everything, because all he has to just say, well, it's my decision. There's no should even there it should be like an odd number that way you don't have no tiebreakers or anything like that. Should a group of people making the plans and stuff.
Yeah.
Come on. You got to think about it for
That's,
20 minutes before you jump.
that's,
There you go.
I guess if anything would worry me, that would worry me the most is you can prepare for a lot of stuff, but you can't really prepare for the psychological breakdown of people, which you'd have to deal with, during that whole ordeal, solo or in a group. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And yeah, I actually found a couple and went to visit their location, I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
And uh, one right off the bat, and I used to tell this story a while ago. Um, Sat down and talked to him and stuff, and he said, um, "I don't think you'll fit in too well." And I said, "Well, okay." And he said, "Because majority of us is all married, and we don't want somebody coming in and trying to steal our women." And I'm like, "What? What?" He was already suggesting that you're gonna have a single man come in and start taking the women away from the other guys, and I'm like, and the, yeah,
Yeah.
his wife is sitting there beside him, just her face is like rolling her eyes and all kinds of stuff, and I'm like, oh boy, this guy already has problems. I can just imagine joining something like that. Um, and if he thinks something, oh, he's messing around with my wife, that type of thing. And yeah, that's no way to already start your mag off and everything. Wasn't so much what kind of skills you have, or you know have you done anything like this, and what kind of uh equipment do you have and things like that. And I was like, oh, no.
Yeah.
No. And that was a couple counties over too, because it was pretty close. And I was at first they had 160 acres and had an area for gardening and everything. That's what they said, but went out there and there was just a square field with nothing there. There was no garden there or nothing. Uh, they did have a spring. Didn't have it set up um, for a well that you could put a pump in there or anything. It was just there, and it's yeah. No, no, thank you.
Yeah. That type of stuff, you got to you got to start getting yourself established now. You don't want to wait till after the fact and then start doing gardening and getting well set up.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
because there was nothing established out there. Um, you figure what if something happened in the springtime and it was time to get seeds in the ground and all you have is a field that needs stripped off of the first layer and to get down into the soil. First of all, they didn't have no organic material out there to enhance the soil. So that first year, you probably wouldn't get a very big crop out of this. Um, I mean, just going out in the woods, you can get a lot of stuff that you could use for compost and stuff, but nothing set up for that. And there was no buildings, so which to me ain't no big deal because I can sleep in a tree. But you have families out there with kids and stuff. Um, you don't want them sleeping in a tent for very long, or you know, if you're trying to run a community or something like that, that's
No,
not a good way to start.
it's gonna be tough to adjust, but I mean, you want the cushion to be as soft as possible for sure.
Yeah, and me and Jeff talked about this, and I said, "Well, say it was, bad times when you would need these groups and stuff." Um, and I was sitting there getting interviewed, and I said, "Well, I don't fit in. I don't. Uh, I'm going to go elsewhere." Now, would you want me leaving this place knowing that, if they did have everything set up and they showed you around and everything, we have this, we have that, and then
Exactly.
let you go? I'm like, that's a good discussion, and that's the thing of say you have somebody that you know wants more food, and he starts stealing it, and you find out he's got a bunch of food stockpiled when everybody's supposed to be sharing. Um, what do you do to somebody like that?
That would go through my mind as well. And
And you can't kick him out because if you kick him out, he's going to go somewhere else and tell people what you have. So what do? You can't stick him in jail because he's not doing anything. All you're doing is feeding him. And if you get him to work, you force him to work or something, you have to have somebody there to watch him. So what do you do in that situation?
these are some of the tough choices we're gonna have to face if it ever comes to that.
You know, and there's crimes, that could be worse than just stealing, and you just can't. And you look at it one way, you can't kick them out, and then if you decide that you want to, the best way is to delete that person, who's going to be in charge of that, and who has to do that, and things like that. Um, that's a lot. You just can't say, "Well, let's have a mag and do it." That's a lot of stuff that you have to consider. Is that those type of things?
Yep.
Sit down, cat.
Some might not want to think about it, but it's stuff you have to think about now. It's
Hmm.
like you prepare your gardens and your preps and stuff.
Yeah, and a lot of times you'll get the people say, "Well, that stuff happens. I'm just going to go out and live off the land." It takes 2 acres for one person to live off the land. 2 acres, and that's pushing it. And that's if you're lucky, because sometimes that 2 acres might not be worth it.
Yeah. And you're way up there in Ohio, and I'm way down here in Georgia. I mean, I hate to say it, but if something like that ever happened, what's the odds of me and you ever running into each other?
Yeah.
If we did, dude, that'd be like, how the heck
What?
did you make it?
What is that? You?
It's me. I still have a bulldog hat some type of way. That's how you know it's me. Wearing a bear skin rug or something. I don't know. Be looking pretty rough back there, I imagine.
Alligator boots.
Yeah, yeah, handcrafted alligator boots. Yeah, yeah. I brought you a pair. I'll craft an extra pair just in case.
Hey, Camel Carl.
Yeah, I think about that, and then well, I don't have any wife or children, but my only concern would be my mom. She's still here. Uh,
Mhm.
establishing family plans, stuff like that locally. Um,
Yeah,
trying
that's
to,
the thing. Down south, it would be the mags would be families.
yeah.
It would be the family sticking together, and I think those would be a lot stronger. Of course, family's going to argue, but uh, less likely it would turn bad.
Yeah, I try to tell my family about certain stuff like that, and I think they, I think they hear me. I mean, I think they're listening, but I don't think they really hear me per se.
Yeah,
On certain things. But my mom, she understands, but she's at an age where she can only do so much. So I try to make sure she's all right.
but the old timers, they would be valuable, and that's the thing. There'll be a lot of people think, oh, we need the young, strong people to do this and that. But the older people, they got that knowledge in their heads that unless them young people have a bunch of books or stuff that or life skills that they've lived it, then they'll have a hard time.
So the children are the future, but the elders have the knowledge and the know-how to get them there.
Hmm.
Yeah, that type of knowledge is going to be so valuable. Mm. Yeah, I'd be lying if I said I didn't sit around sometime and think about different things like this and what would happen or what could happen.
Here's another one. This is these bushcrafting items
Hmm.
will be the first to go in a crisis. Um, well, let's skip down to this. The first one is a compass. While someone who is truly adept as a bushcrafter will know their direction by techniques, many bushcraft people will still keep compasses handy in their pockets just for extra assurance, knowing where they are going. I don't know if they would disappear. I don't know if that's what they're getting with talking about, or
It definitely would be useful for sure.
oh yeah. I mean, if if you spend any time in the woods and stuff, and you know the sun, where the sun's at.
Mm-hmm.
Now it may be different if they take you and put you in Africa or something. The sun directions probably change and everything. Not the sun, but your location rather.
They'd probably teleport me there. Say, well, no more Georgia for you. Bloop. Put me in the middle of the desert somewhere. But yeah, knowing where you're at, location, that's going to be real critical.
Well, and the next one is hatchets. One of the most important tools for someone who practices bushcraft. Uh, Behind only the knife is a hatchet.
Yeah.
While a knife is an excellent precision tool for carrying a cutting tool, a hatchet is better for heavy duty tasks. Uh, Spells in chopping firewood, cutting ice, uh, all those things, making shelter and flip it around. You got a sledgehammer on the other side. The
Oh
next,
yeah.
it seems like these are things you need, not things that'll disappear, but eh, maybe they're talking about off the shelves or something. I don't know.
Probably yeah.
A knife. The knife is perhaps the single most important tool for someone who practices bushcrafting.
Oh,
That's
definitely.
because a simple knife can be utilized for almost all kinds of bushcrafting related projects. Uh, Long term survival guides. uh,
Absorb
yeah,
as much knowledge as you can now. If you can get the hard literature, get it. But you can only carry
yeah.
so much if you're going to be a traveler.
Magnesium flint strikers. Well, yeah,
Yeah. Any type of way to start you a cooking anything. Yeah. It's going to be real critical.
next one is multi tools. Yeah, I think they're more or less talking about if something happens, these are the things that you won't see just lying around everywhere
Yeah.
because people collect them like they're gold. Next one is paracord,
Definitely.
and then we got saws, shovels, and that's it. Yeah, I think that's more like what it is than anything.
All those are great things to have.
This is actually a throwing one. I've never tried to throw it, but it's supposed to be that's what it's made for. I don't know if you
See you getting into lumberjack championships.
I don't know.
Yeah. That's going to be it's going to be worth its weight.
I think I'd more or less rather have a big machete carrying around with me.
That too.
But one thing I didn't see on there was, um, you know, ammo and things to use the ammo with. That'd be very scarce to see those scavenging around an old house or something, unless you knew where they were hidden at or something.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna be like Casey Jones from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We'll have the goalie mask on and everything.
uh, well, how for the compass? How many people know how to use a compass?
Yeah,
Well, I mean, anybody can use a compass. You just set it down, and oh, the arrow went north. Um, that's not really the purpose of the compass. It is, but it isn't. I mean, a good compass, it has the dial on the top uh, to keep your direction and everything. Like if you're sitting there and you're looking at a map, um, you can determine how long you have to walk, and then you see these landmarks, and you turn so many degrees north, and then you go that way about an hour, and then you turn another 5 degrees and head over the mountain or something in that scenario.
oh yeah, definitely get comfortable with that type of stuff now.
Oh yeah. Oh, and it's very hard to even find the maps that actually show the details and stuff. Um,
They used to have a lot of places you could get free maps and stuff like that, but it's hard to
yeah,
even find those now. Yeah. Even the rest stops around here, the ones going from Georgia to South Carolina, they don't even have them anymore.
yeah, that's weird. I mean, you don't really need it now. All you have to do is say,
Yeah,
"Hey Google, where pop up Google Maps or something like that."
I still see them for sale, like in truck stops and stuff like that. I mean, I've got a few of like the local ones in states and stuff, but
Yeah, yeah, but and that well, that's the thing. Road maps are still important, and I've gotten a few talks to people about um, oh, the road maps won't tell you how to cross this or that, and I said, well, what state doesn't have roads? Every place you go to has roads now, and if you have a road map and you decide to cut cross the country and stuff, um, when you get to that other road, majority of the time those roads are mapped or titled or they have signs and stuff on them. You can determine where you're going, you know, and you can look at the map and kind of see how far you are, and you can determine which way you want to go from there. Road maps are still important.
oh, definitely. The roads ain't going to go nowhere.
Yeah. Now, if you're somewhere up in Canada or Alaska to where there's no roads around, those ain't going to do you much good.
Yeah,
You may
that's
get
true.
a layout, but it's not going to tell you the terrain or anything.
No, just need to know direction at that point.
Yeah, I've seen some survival movies to where this guy mapped his whole area and gave details of, some of the terrain. This one mountain has a certain peak to it or something. And he drew all this out. That way, um, he knew where he was. Whenever he looked at something, he knew where he was, and that was a way for him just drawing these maps was to um, learn the terrain too. And eventually, he didn't need those maps. True. If you have to dig
Sure.
your way out.
Man. Well, if I doubt I'd ever go that far north.
Oh, be a good place to visit, I suppose.
That'd be a lot of walking. Whew. Be like Forrest Gump.
Yeah, who's to say if, you know, even if you did have a device that would connect to a satellite, are those satellites telling you the truth anymore?
Yeah,
Um, because they need maintenance, they need help from down here to keep them going and stuff.
might have a window. I don't know how long that window would last.
Yeah, and it would be much better to learn the old ways of, mapping out
Yeah,
places.
yeah. The digital one still did work for a while. That'd be a blessing, but yeah, still have the hard knowledge.
Yeah, we used to. I remember the first time we went hiking over at Salt Fork. They have a big hiking area, um, and it's nice. I mean, if people from the city go to the Salt Fork and they they think they're roughing it into the wilderness and everything. They
Yeah,
got, I mean, the trail has got uh, gravel on it the whole way through, and it's about 6 feet wide, and you walk on it, and it's like you can see nature and everything,
yeah.
but it was boring. And I said, "Oh, let's go," and I turned off, and we started hiking, and oh, we're gonna get lost. We're gonna be lost in the woods forever. And it's a pretty big area. I mean, you could get lost, but I said, "Well, I'm going down here, and we're gonna have lunch next to the lake." And they're like, "How do you know which way the lake is?" And I said, "Well, I'm heading northeast." Well, how do you know which way is northeast? And I showed them where the moss was and stuff. And they said, "Well, what if the moss decides to grow on the other side?" And I said, "It doesn't do that."
Doesn't work that way. Yeah,
And I said, "Well, if that doesn't work, look up at the sky, and where's the sun at?" And he's right there. And I said, "Okay, which way has the sun been going?" And they said, "Over this way." Well, that means that's northeast. Oh, okay. And we're walking for probably an hour and a half, and whoop, there's the lake. And we sat down on some rocks and watched people go by in their boats and stuff, and uh, ate our lunch. And right up on the ridge, there were some baby foxes, or whatever the baby foxes are called, kits or pups or whatever they are, um, playing with the mother and stuff. And we're sitting there watching them as we're eating our lunch. And I said, "Well, let's head up this way a bit, and then we'll start heading back," because we were already out for a few hours. And they kept saying we're lost and this and that, and so we should have went this way. I said, "No, I know where we're going." And instead of taking the trail back to where we were, because I actually went over the trail, said, we need to follow the trail back. I said, no, I'm taking a shortcut, and followed my way and came out right next to the truck. Or at that time it was SUV. And they were like, wow, that was cool. I was always good with directions. Even wee little kid out in the woods at my grandpa's, I'd go out there for hours just exploring and stuff.
Yeah. So I
There's
was
some
as a kid.
old caves and things like that.
Hmm.
Oh, I think it's one of these.
Yeah, that is cool enough. I like to do a little bit more in school.
Well, I better not play that because actually I don't know what they're going to say and I might get in trouble. uh, uh, Topo? You mean a topographical map?
Okay, that makes
Is
sense.
that what you're trying to say, Joe? Wait, I was off. I didn't see anything. What do you think? What am I thinking? What did I miss? I was thinking a good survival item would be sticky boards. Oh, you mean like the trap, the ones that trap mice on them and stuff? As long as they didn't have um chemicals in them.
What's that?
Those little sticky pads
Yeah,
that
yeah.
they trap mice and stuff on.
What would you use those for? Or what could somebody use those?
Chickmunks,
Oh,
squirrels.
okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know. Squirrel would probably eat it and then run away. You could track him down because you have all these leaves stuck to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've got in my bug out bag, I've got a rat trap, and it's got a uh, hole drilled in it to where I can tie it to a log or something. Yep, birds too. Just put
Yeah.
a worm in there or something on top of there.
Got a few little metal ones like that, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, squirrels, rabbits, birds. Oh, it's enough squirrels around here when the season was right. You definitely could. You wouldn't hurt none. There's plenty to go
Right.
around.
I'll get a piece of tape and stick it to the floor and wait for one of the cats to step on it, and They go like this.
Oh yeah, they did not like that.
Or on their back feet, their back leg just.
Yeah.
Or you get the little balloons and you rub it on your hair to get that static clean on it and stick it to them. Oh man, they run all over the place trying to get that balloon off. Help
Oh,
me, help me.
that's funny. Like
Yeah.
when they're young, you can get them with the laser pointer. Man, they'll follow that thing everywhere.
Oh yeah. Let's see what this video is. Oh, I'll play that one. That was kind of cool. All right, let's rewind it. How did he not see them skid marks? I don't think that's such a great
Man,
escape. I think it's just a bad popo.
you did a real life Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I'm not that skilled. I wouldn't have that much luck.
Yeah, that's why I've got rat trap in my bug out bag. I've also got like 30 pre-made snare wires already done up. Oh. Hey Tony, good to see you. Yeah, I think everybody should get the books on how to make snare or triggers. Triggers is the most important thing. Snares you can just set them up in certain locations and wait for something to go through them, but make carving out the triggers and stuff is good because you can place bait on those, which increases the odds. You find you a nice log that goes across somewhere where you know where there's squirrels and stuff, and then you can just tie that around the snare wire and just position it to where they're going to run through it, and they get trapped in that snare wire. And it's good to have like 30 pre-made, and you get um those old CD cases where
Yep,
they used to have 30 CDs in them. It's a little plastic shell,
yep,
and you just put those 30 things in there, and it's only yay big, and it saves so much space for 30 different snares.
yeah. Figure that's 30 meals.
Hmm. Well, there on alone there was somebody making snares, and they set out a whole bunch of them and said, well, chances are, at least with all those I got out, my chances are it's a good chance I'll get at least one rabbit. Um, and she ended up getting like 4 or 5 rabbits,
Mm.
and that's huge for that show. I still remember the guy that um, got him a, I don't know if it was a buffalo or a oxen or something like that, and shot it, and it wasn't going down. So he runs up and starts getting at it with his knife, and he got it. He ended up winning because of that thing. Yeah, I've got one of those mini. I think it's still sitting up over there. Those pistol crossbows, which I've got the bolts for them. Uh, Ordered a bunch of them, but I want to pull the because they're more or less like a practice, but they would work in that situation. I want to take it off and put something that the for the fishing, so it doesn't pull out, and rig something up to where if I'm by the water, I can shoot fish and reel them back in.
Yeah, that'd be handy.
And then I've
Definitely.
got my compound bow up there. Actually, I got it. I got another one somewhere around here. I just don't know where it's at. I think it's up there. But the newer one I got's got some good arrows and everything with it. Because I think I would actually carry the compound bow and my 22 and only use the 22 if I had to.
Yeah, absolutely necessary.
Because you want to be as quiet as possible.
Yeah.
What? You never had slingshot experience? Oh, I remember I made my first slingshot out of it, old inner tube. And that's the thing. Nowadays, kids don't have inner tubes like we did back then. Because it used to be that's what was inside of all the tires was an inner tube. And
Yeah.
you those used to make some good slingshots, and they were laying around everywhere. Yeah, and that's one of the things you can use paracord for. It makes a good lead for those reels and things to for fish
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
because regular fishing line get tangled up too easily. That inner line that's inside the uh, reel paracord 550.
I used to see people make the bracelets. I guess people still do that.
Yeah, there you don't see it much anymore. I've got a I don't know what it was called, jig or something for it
Yeah.
that I made to where I can change the size and everything. You clip them in on both sides and just start weaving just to make bracelets. I used to sell them for $5, $6. AW. Oh, you heavy cat. Let's see. I don't know. I'm pretty sure they'll be live tonight. I don't think they were live. No, they weren't live Sunday. There we go. Vineyard Chicks live. Yep, it says live stream with Vineyard Chicks, sing movie songs.
Okay,
Oh,
that'd be a
interesting.
good one. Name that movie.
Okay, let me get that link. Oh, okay. I thought you were going to put more weights in your backpack. Wait a minute. You want it to be light, not heavy. Yeah. I'm all the time trying to lower the weight of that thing. But a lot of the stuff would already be on me. Like I have some stuff that's in the bag now that wouldn't be in the bag. It'd be at close reach for my hands and tool belt and stuff like that. And then of course I'd have my 22, which is not heavy. It's just a little bitty thing. And then I would probably put my bow on the bag itself. That's it. You know, that's only if, because that's the last thing you want. Me, I would enjoy just going out in the woods away from people. But a lot of people, you know, it wouldn't be that easy for a lot of people. I'm not saying I'm an expert or anything. I just did it before, and I have no problem, you know, being out there scavenging, uh, eating critters. I'll put it that way.
Find me in the peach orchard eating some
And
peaches.
I think it would be I think it would be a lot harder now on me than it was when I was a kid, because just because I'm adapted. Well, look what happens when our power goes off. We sit in the house and roast to death. It's like, you know, we're so used to that AC. If we lose that AC, you know, refrigerator, running water, and that kind of stuff. That's why I said there'll be a lot of people not make it that first month because they're just so spoiled by everything we have nowadays. I mean, look at the people in California. They say 90% of their meals get delivered to them. And I'm not saying everybody in California is that way, but the ones that live in the city, they don't cook. They hardly have any food in their refrigerator except for junk food or something like that. And when it's time to eat, oh, they have, you know, a bunch of pamphlets and things. Oh, let's go eat. Let's have this delivered to us. Um, yeah.
Yeah. Something did happen. That would be a major shock, yeah, to a lot of
Yeah.
people.
Like, B, how long do you think it would take you to get used to not having AC? How many months it would How many months would it take to get used to not having AC?
Here in the South, it'd take a little while. I definitely appreciate my AC.
Yeah.
But could I do it? Yes. Would it take some time? Definitely. But I mean, I spend a lot of time outside anyway. So I mean,
Well, a cold drink.
oh yeah, cold drink. Mm. Well, I hate to say it, but at least in your winters, y'all would definitely could have you a cold drink if you wanted one.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. We would need hot drinks.
Yeah. Well, you could start a fire. Shoot, all my drinks are gonna be hot. Unless I let them sit in the river for a little while and bring one out or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Might have to migrate a little north.
Well, I remember when, a storm would come through, it would take, you could be a month to 2 months without power. Nowadays, I had a tree fall down and it took out everybody's power on the whole block.
Yeah.
48 hours it was fixed. I had the power company and the cable company at the same time fixing the the lines. I mean, it's a lot faster than it was, but still. Ooh.
Oh, definitely.
Oh yeah, you get a good spring come off of a mountain or inside of a mountain. Uh, that's some nice cold water.
There's a couple spots like that in my area, but of course, if it hits the fan, those are going to be highly sought after areas.
Oh yeah, like that thing that 101 was putting up about um, West Virginia.
Yeah.
That that spring coming out of the mountain there.
Oh, yeah.
I can almost guarantee that there will be, if things got bad, there will be a group that would set up at that place selling water,
Without a
and
doubt.
they would be holding it with pew pews and stuff. Well, was that The Walking Dead or the Fear of the Walking Dead? One of those. The only water around, I think, was in Mexico, was the dam area, um, and um, the gangs took over that,
Hmm.
and that was the only water around because it was in the desert. Can't remember.
Yeah. Those type of areas are definitely going to be your hot zones.
Yeah, yeah. Was it Fear? Okay, I think that was when it first started. I thought, what's his name? Daryl was, um, the new season was starting today.
I'm not sure. I heard about it. I forget the particular day, but yeah.
Yeah, which that is, oh, that's going to be bad.
Yeah.
You're going to see certain items disappear completely because nobody will touch them because they're they can't raise the price on it. So there's no profit to be made, so it'll stop being on the market. Imagine, um, like bananas, pineapples, stuff that we get for like Puerto Rico or out of country type things.
Oh,
You
yeah.
won't see those anymore. Imagine orange juice and stuff. Um, that will go away. The farmers will say, "Hey, we can't make a profit off of this stuff." they'll just let it do it and not farm it anymore. A lot of farms will shut down because they can't do a profit because the prices can't go up. Look at a house. I want to have a house built. Oh, you can't go over that certain price. The builders are going to say, well, I'm not building it because I ain't going to make any money off of it. I'll go in the hole. So you can't get a house built.
Man,
It's going to be like that if there's a lockdown. It sounds good, but eventually it won't be. You'll start seeing no new houses being built, no cars being built because there's no profit in it. Like we can afford a new car anyway, but yeah.
Yeah, I seen something about that the other day. Supposedly, yeah, some new package, some $1 trillion package. Yeah, man, this is. Mm-mm.
Yeah, exactly. There's gonna once that item, whatever it might be, say orange juice, that item starts getting to where farmers are stopped producing this stuff, or the farms, and they'll start saying, well, only a family can have one container of orange juice a month.
Rationing.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep, it sure has. Now, I agree when there's like a disaster or something and gas prices go skyrocketing. It's just the company's trying to make a buck. That makes sense. A 48-hour, lock on gas prices or something like that. But when you try to do it across the board, no good's going to come out of that.
No, there's too many variables.
Yeah. I mean, look how much the stock market goes up and down. Uh, once once it would go, once it would start crashing, and then nobody's making money off of anything. The product just disappears. The farmers stop doing that. Behave.
But yeah, like you said, orange juice. You think about all the oranges and stuff that's grown here, but yeah, how much of it is really outsourced and comes from other places?
Mm-hmm. I mean, look at the price of shipping now. Some of this stuff that you ship,
Ridiculous.
yeah. Um, if you lock a price down on a product and it costs double that to ship it, they're not going to ship it.
No, we're getting close to that point now on some things.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I remember driving through Florida, and that's all you would see is orange trees, lemon trees, as long as you could see. A lot of them, it's just not, there's not enough money in it, no profit in it anymore.
Mm.
And orange juice is expensive now. Oh
Oh
boy.
yeah, it is. Unless you getting some good stuff or got your own oranges, man, it just don't taste the same.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember, and this is a long time ago when the frost came and devastated the whole uh, orange juice crops, and
Yeah,
orange juice, oh, it went through the roof. And that's when they started getting it from other countries because it just took too long for a lot of the farms to get going again. Yeah, when I was down there um, as a kid, I remember because I had a job picking tomatoes, and we didn't. There was no red tomatoes. We only picked green tomatoes because they would ship it off to other states, and by the time it got there, they were ripe. Well, somewhat ripe.
yeah.
They looked like they were ripe. Um, and you had to make sure that there was no stem on the tomato because it would poke into the other ones and they go bad faster. So you had to go, you had to push them and twist as you'd pull them off.
Hmm, that makes
Somebody's
sense.
racing in town. And I always thought, when you go to the store, that's how the farmers brought you their produce. It was all nice and ripe and ready to go. And nope. All this, even the watermelons. The watermelons are picked like a month before they're ready to be ripened on the vine. They'll pick them before they're they're ripe. That way they last longer. And that's pretty much the same on all the stuff. Well, except for probably the leafy stuff. But the majority of the produce in grocery stores are all picked before it's ripe.
Hmm. It's like something as simple as bananas. Just imagine what all it has to go to before it gets to our counter, our kitchen counter or something, you know?
Yeah.
Imagine you could probably grow them down in Florida. I don't know. That'd probably be your most likely spot if they could go here in the States.
Yeah. I remember uh, the first time I actually had a ripe banana. And you think the bananas you get in the store are ripe? No, when you get one that's been ripened on the tree, oh man, there's there's not a taste equal to it compared to the bananas you get off in the stores now.
There's so many different types.
Hmm.
I think that the ones at the store is just all of them are the same, and there's so many different types.
Yeah, it's amazing if you watch how these are harvested. The ones at the store that you get, they take off as a big thing of bananas, and then they chop the whole tree down,
Yeah,
and they wait for another one to come back up, and it's like, wow, that's because it's rinse and repeat type of thing. They get that big machete, whap, and boom, there goes the tree.
it's like you ever seen the videos where the guys or women do it too, but go out there and harvest the agave,
Oh yeah,
big big agave plant. You got to shave all the little leaves off of it and stuff.
yeah, yeah. Or, well, if you ever see how they do. They get a mango or a papaya even, and you'll see those guys with the knives and carve it all fancy and everything to where you can
Yeah,
eat it. Oh man, you can tell they've been doing it for years. The
yeah.
way they carve into that stuff. Well,
Like the,
even watermelon. They go,
like the guy shaving the coconuts. I'm pretty sure you've seen the videos. He's sitting
yeah,
there hacking them up with this blade, and he's like, "Oh man, wow, he's got all his fingers, you know." He's carrying on the whole conversation, looking behind him, you know, and he ain't missed a beat.
yeah.
There was some people that set up at the flea market like that, and they sold like produce, and the guy would always be back there, and he had two different types of coconuts. He'd do the whole little show right there for you. Really, that's what you was paying for, really. But
Oh, Doug and
good stuff.
Stacy. I seen a video on them uh, where they actually live, and they go out to that where they film about every other day. That freaked me out there. Yeah, I forget who it was. Um, it's probably still on YouTube, and people still follow Doug and Stacy like all the time.
That sounds
Um,
familiar.
th- well, they he's that dude with the long beard and
Amish style.
yeah, the big hat. Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I know you're
And
talking about.
they've been in the news left and right and all over YouTube about, you know, iffy YouTube-ish business. And somebody actually followed them, uh, followed them from their location where they do all the filming, and they actually have people there watching that farm, and they followed them to a town, if not that town, but the town over, and they live in town,
Hmm,
and yeah, they got video of it and everything, and I was like, wow. And I thought, well, that their YouTube channel is gone now after this.
dang, that's
They're
crazy.
they're
Yeah,
still
I've,
there though. There's still people that will follow them.
I've seen their
I mean,
videos, but no, I didn't
I
know about
never
that.
I never followed them. I only do I very seldom I have a big channel unless they got big as I knew them.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I get more. I don't know. I more entertainment off the smaller channels, or like I said, when they were smaller channels and they got bigger.
That's me. I like to see
Um,
the growth.
yeah,
Oh,
some of them. There are some, I'll be irritated one day and I'll hit the unsub button afterwards. They turn to that clickbait. They'll say something and they say, "Oh, I got you, didn't I?" I'm like, "Oh, unsubscribe." No,
that's,
you didn't.
that's why I've been losing a subscriber. I've been trying to figure that out. Okay, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
know what you mean. Some people, yeah,
yeah. I don't mind a here and there, making it jokey, but yeah. Oh, we're breaking up this and that, and you go, "Oh, I got you." No, we're talking about our grass. I'm like, "Oh boy."
yeah, yeah. When it's that, yeah.
Uh, Yeah.
Breaking news. My wife decided on what color to paint the kitchen.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
Um, Yeah, there are some. Now, like I said, I'm not a subscriber, but if it pops up in my feed, I'll watch it. Um, I don't. It's just me. I just like supporting the smaller channels and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Hmm.
No matter what, everybody starts with 0 subs or or 0 support.
Well, uh, used to be when you started a channel, you started with one. I
Really,
never understood who this one person was, though.
you know,
It
that's
and until I started doing the coding thing, and it was a place tracker. Whenever you started your channel,
like a
you
bot,
were actually subscribed to your own channel, but you didn't show up.
huh?
And since then, it I don't know if you start with one now or not. But it used to be you started with one.
I think I started with -1. Say, well, we have to earn double. It's like I don't know if you ever remember, if anybody remembers the MySpace days. You ever
Yep,
had a MySpace page? You always had one friend to start, Tom.
yep, good old
Whoever,
Tom.
whoever Tom was, I say, well, I got one friend. Tom still loves me. He ain't going nowhere.
I even messaged Tom and say thank you for being my friend. He
Yeah, I
never
couldn't.
did reply back.
Yeah,
He stayed my friend though.
it's like one of those British guards, man. He would never break. You could message him, but no, I'm just here.
Uh, oh, you got a question.
Well,
What color did she pick for the kitchen?
no, I don't have a wife. I was just throwing something out there generically.
Oh,
Uh,
I was trying to figure out who was doing the kitchen or something.
no, I was just saying, like, somebody will say breaking news, and then you watch it, and they're like, well, my
Yeah.
wife finally picked the color for the kitchen today. So
Uh,
breakfast is still on 4 in the morning.
okay, let me go ahead and get the link ready because it's time for the vineyard chicks to start. And they're already going. Wow. Not wasting it, no time at all.
Didn't miss a beat.
Actually, I think that's the trailer. Are they live? Yeah, I think it's the trailer. Might be them. There you go. Um, chances are I won't be live in the morning tomorrow. Um, but I should be back to normal schedule Wednesday. And then probably the week after that, I'll have to start working on my schedule a little bit different because something that I'll be doing will be changing. Um, that's all I'm going to say. It'll be a surprise, hopefully. We'll have to wait till tomorrow because it's already been canceled once, so we'll see.
You're not going beardless, are you?
No, well, I might actually have to
Oh no, that's
here pretty soon. Um,
uh-oh.
tie it up or something.
There you go. Get your braided up like Thor.
There we go. But we'll see, and I might start doing a Wednesday night, late night something or something. Who knows? I don't know, but we'll see. Um, yeah, we'll see. Um, again, probably I won't be here tomorrow morning. Uh, or I could just do it at 8 o'clock instead of 9. But I'd rather get going by then anyway. But anyways, we'll see you guys over at the Vineyard Chicks. Thanks everyone for hanging out, and we will catch you on the next one.
Good night, everybody.
God bless. I'll make sure I put that in and then end it so they don't cut it off.